Hey, I'm Shaye, and you are listening to the Casual Cattle Conversations podcast. Whether you are a seasoned rancher or just curious about the cattle world, this podcast dives into the stories, science, and strategies shaping the future of ranching. Let's get started and keep your herd ahead of the herd. Today, we are visiting with Jeananne from the Red Angus Association about the benefits of value-added programs for all producers, regardless of breed, but we will specifically dive into some programs that you Red Angus folks should really be aware of and keep your eye on. This is going to be a quick yet valuable conversation for all of you listeners out there. And with that, let's get to the conversation with Jeananne. All right, Jeananne, it is fun to have you on the show today. And we're going to talk about a conversation or a topic that's valuable to producers and one that I always enjoy visiting about. We're going to be talking kind of about the value-added market a little bit and, what benefits those provide to the commercial cattlemen. But before we dive into that, would you mind helping the listeners get to know you by letting us know why you bet on the beef industry?
So thanks again for having me on today, Shaye. I'm happy to be here and have a conversation. But great question to start out on why I bet on the beef industry. And really, it's because this industry is full of resilience. It's rooted in tradition, and producers are aligned with integrity. They're constantly innovating, whether that's through the genetics that they choose to use, sustainability practices, or the marketing tools that they choose to invest in and utilize. Beef also is an extremely versatile protein and offers key nutrients that are really hard to obtain other places. And so I think because of that, there's a continued high demand from consumers, whether that's domestically or globally. And so at the end of the day, I think this industry has the people, the programs, and the product to continue delivering about value and a lot of good into the future.
Absolutely. Now, part of your role or the reason that you get to be on the show today is because of a partnership I have with the Red Angus Association of America. And would you tell listeners kind of what your role is with the RAAA?
Yeah, so I am the value added department team lead. So I oversee the value added programs that the association offers. Day to day, what that looks like is I work alongside Lauren, who also works in our department, working with producers, enrolling them in the programs, filling tag orders that are associated with their enrollments, as well as completing paperwork and certificates and documents, not only for each of our programs, but more specifically as well for our USDA process verified program. So we also work with buyers, industry partners, other third-party verification companies, sale barns, really to make sure that people producing Red Angus genetics, Red Angus verified calves, are seeing brand recognition throughout the industry and opening up a greater market access for those cattle.
Your team definitely has a lot going on and has been working on a lot of things recently. Before we kind of dive into those specifics, when we're thinking about value-added programs in general, in the broader picture of the industry, whether people are raising Red Angus, Charolais, Hereford, whatever it may be, what are some of the benefits to these value-added programs that the industry has to offer?
Yeah, so verified differentiation is the biggest thing, right? So we see a lot of cattle going through the marketplace, and being able to add more information and documentation to your calves sets you apart. We see that cattle buyers are looking for added documentation, whether that be through your health practices, genetics, age source verification, etc. What it signals to buyers is that you as a producer are serious about quality, you want to be transparent and trustworthy, and more committed to animal health and productivity, as well as wanting to build a long-term relationship and recognition for years to come instead of maybe just wanting to market a calf crop for this year. So through that and adding a little bit of extra time, aligning with the practices that you may already be doing in your operation and adding that extra documentation allows for a larger access in the marketing channels.
Okay. Now, with Red Angus specifically, are there any benefits or stories that you want to highlight of producers who have, reaped the benefits of providing this extra information and just verifying more about their cattle?
Yeah, so we definitely see a lot of our producers are always looking for ways to add premiums and, again, develop a long-term relationship with buyers, increase the amount of buyers that are bidding on their cattle. And so the beautiful part, I guess, about specifically the programs Red Angus offers is it's kind of lays the foundation and is the first stepping stone if you want to just cover those bases for genetic age and source, or if you want to also layer on additional third-party verification claims and verification, whether that's natural, NHTC, sustainability type practices, anything like that, just adds to it. And so we definitely see producers who have developed a really good relationship with continuous repeat buyers over the years with that.
Okay. Now, when we're talking about these producers, does the method of sale make a difference in if producers reap the benefits from enrolling in these programs? Because there are people who go to the barns, there are people who sell privately. I mean, there's multiple different avenues.
Yeah, so obviously, when we're selling cattle in larger quantities and maybe more visible global marketing avenues like online, you're definitely able to see a broader audience that way. But I think value added is sought after regardless of how you're marketing your cattle. So we definitely know that there's producers enrolled in our specific program that have repeat buyers that are eager to purchase those cattle year in and out, regardless of the quantity and at local sale barns. For Red Angus specifically, our Angus Access program, what that signals to producers or to buyers is that these cattle are at least 50% Red Angus. They got their age and source documentation. And so that foundation allows for those calves to have a broader ability for the end product and how they're marketed and how that meat is packaged and labeled. But it also signals to those buyers how those cattle are going to perform and feed out. They have a little more knowledge on those cattle and how they're going to perform moving forward.
So you touched on it a little earlier in that, you're working with not only producers who could benefit from these programs, but also kind of helping establish relationships on the other side with buyers. Do you want to talk a little bit about what goes into establishing those relationships on the buyer side of things, or maybe what your team is doing there?
So our team at Red Angus, our value added department, as well as our commercial marketing team, is constantly working throughout the industry, whether that be with different feedlots and packers, different certified beef program labels, to make sure that they understand what our programs are, specifically speaking, I guess, to our Angus Access and Allied Access program primarily, the benefits of Red Angus genetics, the way those cattle perform, and the different avenues that they qualify for and the documentation that comes with it. So a lot of it's education to where there is brand recognition. So when those cattle do hit the market, they know what they bring and the different opportunities available there.
All right. Now, you've already brought up Angus Access a couple times. You just brought up Allied Access. Can you outline the different value-added opportunities that are provided through the Red Angus Association?
Yes. So obviously our two primary programs are USDA process verified programs, as you mentioned, Angus Access and Allied Access. So what those are, Angus Access is a genetic age and source verification program. It verifies that the cattle are at least 50% Angus, and then it also has the age and source documentation. Allied Access is the sister program to that, and it removes the genetic requirement, so it just covers the age and source side of things. The other programs that we offer through the association are non-USDA verified. They are more breed partnerships, and they're designed for producers who are capitalizing on the hybrid vigor and producing cattle meeting the demand. So we have a female program with premium red baldy, highlighting that cross between Hereford and Red Angus and the maternal characteristics that are definitely a huge desire within the industry that way. And then we have another program, American Red, that is focused on more of our southern region and the heat tolerance in cattle that are adaptable to those warmer climates.
Okay. Now, Angus Access is actually a rebrand of what was the FCCP or feeder calf certification program. Do you want to talk a little bit about what went into that rebrand and the purpose of that?
Yeah, so back in July, we did go ahead and announce and release a rebrand of our feeder calf certification program. Other names that it was known for is FCCP for abbreviation, or the Yellow Tag program. And so the program's been around for 30 years, has a lot of history behind it, and we really just wanted to bring that back to the forefront, put a new face, a new name on that that signals a little more clearly defined what that program means and what those cattle can do moving forward. So that was the intention of that rebrand. And I think it just adds more visibility to the program and reminding the industry that these cattle are available. The base of the program has not changed. It's still the same process verified program. The requirements going into it, the integrity and history behind it is still the same. It's still the same trustworthy program that we've had for 30 years. It's just the name that has changed, and the logo is the main change there. But we did also announce a slight change to the program as far as our program compliant tags going into January of 2026. The association is moving to only allow or offering 840 EIDs for that program as the program compliant tag. And so the visual dangle tags that have historically been utilized will still be available as a logo only tag for that visual marketing and management practice, but they will be an accompanying an EID. I know there's some producers that are, asking questions about that transition and have program dangle tags that they've already applied for this year's calf crop or have some still on hand. And we will still allow for those tags to be program compliant and generate certificates of compliance for those cattle tagged that way through July of 2027. It'll just be EIDs that we are selling fresh starting January of this year. We do also allow for outside program compliant EIDs. So if a producer is obtaining tamper-proof EIDs from another source, like the state programs are a great avenue to receive those free EIDs, we definitely encourage producers to utilize those and then provide us a list and bring those in for just $1 a tag. So we really do try to make it easy for producers to be able to bring those outside tags in. The main reason, I guess, for switching to those EIDs is when we're speaking to program cattle specifically, that traceability through the life cycle is extremely important. We talked about the certified beef labels earlier, and those programs and those labels, when they're being audited and looked over, they need that documentation and proof. And so that traceability, being able to follow those cattle through the feedlot, keeping that paperwork with them, and then entering into the packing plants and into these labels is extremely important.
Absolutely. Thank you for outlining those changes and why they were made, etc. Now, when you think about the ideal producer who's going to benefit from, say, the Angus Access program, who is that producer? What are they doing, etc.?
Yeah, so the Angus Access program is for any producer who is utilizing Red Angus genetics. So whether that be a registered Red Angus sire as their herd sire, they're obtaining registered Red Angus semen to breed their cattle, or there are some cases where producers are purchasing registered Red Angus females and maybe breeding them to other breed composition bulls. So as long as we can verify back to that 50% Angus blood content and they're registered in the association, obviously those calves need to be born and tagged on the operation, then it's a great avenue for those producers to utilize. And, I think that it is a really affordable, simple way, and it's an effective way to stand out in the marketplace. It's also extremely easy because, like I said, affordable. The program doesn't cost anything other than the cost of the tag. And so we really do try to make it simple and easy and just add that extra value to practices that these producers are already putting in place.
All right. Well, I have appreciated the conversation and the update about value-added programs and Angus Access. Is there anything else that you think is important to bring up today that we haven't already touched on?
I guess the biggest thing is my goal has always been to make sure that producers are able to capitalize on the value that they're already creating with their management practices at home. And so allowing yourself to look into different opportunities that may fit your operation already and the different things that you can add to your calf crop when marketing them that will allow buyers to see that and increase the demand and premiums that you may see come sale day. Angus Access, I do believe, bridges that gap from ranch to marketplace. So if you are utilizing Red Angus genetics, feel free to give our department a call, ask those questions, have a chat with us. We really do try to make it easy and make sure that you guys are well prepared for sale day. So don't leave the value on the table, and we want to make sure that we help you capture that.
Absolutely. Well, for those of you who are listening and want more information about this, I will include links in the description for you to check anything out there, so that way you can either do your own research or you can contact someone at the Red Angus Association directly. Now, once you are done with this podcast, I'd also encourage you to go check out the Red Angus Remarks podcast, where they've shared more information about this topic as well as a lot of other great topics. And the best way to support all your favorite podcasts is to leave a rating or review, and better yet, share it with a friend who would find this information valuable. With that, happy ranching, folks.